Hello, I hope you've had a good week. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm excited to hear another instalment in our new series, Children in the Bible. I wonder who it will be about today. Yes, it's Moses. Now, we find the story of Moses in the second book of the Bible, Exodus. When we first meet Moses, he's a baby. And you'll remember that Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, was very unhappy that there were so many of God's people living in his land. So he gave an order that all the baby boys of God's people should be killed. Now, Moses' mother, she hid her baby. Well, that was until his cries grew louder and she couldn't hide him anymore. So she made a basket and she put him in the basket and she put it amongst the reeds on the river Nile. And she prayed and asked God to protect him. Miriam, Moses' big sister, she stayed close by to keep a watch over the baby. Now, God had big plans for Moses, and it was not part of his plan that Moses, the baby, should be killed. And so he sent along a princess who rescued the baby. Well, Miriam sprang out of her hiding place and told the princess that her mum would look after the baby until he was old enough to live in the palace. And that's exactly what happened. How strange it must have been for the boy Moses to grow up in the palace where he didn't really belong. He would have had a very good lifestyle in the palace. He would have had expensive clothes to wear. He would be able to choose whatever food he liked to eat. He would have had servants to wait on him. He would have had anything he wanted. And he would have had a good education. It could have changed him, but it didn't. He still remembered his family and his people and God who had saved him. Well, it was only God who could actually save Moses, the baby, from Pharaoh and then put him to grow up in Pharaoh's palace. I expect it was a very big palace and Pharaoh didn't see much of the children anyway. Well, this was all part of God's plan for Moses. He would have grown up as a confident young man who would know how to talk to kings and other important people. When he was grown up, God would send him to speak to the Pharaoh about letting his people go. Finally, God would use Moses to lead his people out of Egypt, through the Red Sea, through the wilderness, until at last they arrived at the land that God had promised them. God certainly had big plans for Moses, the boy. And did you know God has big plans for each of you too? In the Bible, in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 29 and verse 11, God says this: "For I know the plans I have for you. They are plans for good." Isn't that great to know that God has plans for us? He has a plan for each one of your lives. And the best bit? They are good plans. God has good plans for you. Let's talk to him now, shall we? Father God, we thank you that you had plans for Moses. Thank you that you saved him, rescued him. And thank you that you have big plans for us, for each one of us. And thank you that they are good plans. Amen. Well, I'll see you next time for another instalment of Children in the Bible. And we will have a guest joining us. Bye.